final portion of the warm-up is our pattern practice and then our linear or our lateral dynamic warm-up. Which dynamic warm-up you choose depends on the movements that you're going to perform for the day, and we generally coordinate that with our conditioning at the end if there is any. So for instance, if we're doing like linear sled pushes or pulls, then we'll do the linear dynamic warm-up. But if we're doing something more like the slide board or anything where we have to move sideways, if we're doing lateral sled pushes, we're doing crossovers, then we would do the lateral dynamic warm-up. The pattern practice goes every time, but then the dynamic warm-up obviously changes depending on your needs for that day. So to start, we're going to go over the pattern practice. The pattern practice starts with the toe touch to squat. So what that looks like is you're going to stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, hinge at the hip, so you shift your weight back, slight bend in the knees, you're going to touch the toes, squat, elbows go inside the knees, you're going to raise one arm, the second arm, and then drive up. So touch the toes, squat, 1, 2, and then up. You'll go 1 set of 5 for those. Next is split squats. So I think it helps to get set up in the low position. So you're going to set up with the heel underneath the knee, knee underneath the hip, tuck the toes up toward the shin, squeeze the glute, get as tall as you can from the bottom knee or the down knee to the shoulder, and then you're going to drive through both feet, fully extending the legs. You want to think elevator, not escalator here. So my torso is just moving straight up and down. You're going to do 1 set of 5 on each side. After that, you'll move to lateral squats. So you want to position yourself with your feet about 4 feet apart. It'll vary depending on your body shape, how tall you are, short. You just want to make sure that your knee isn't tracking outside of your foot. So you want to make sure that your feet are wide enough that as you push your hip to the side and break at the knee, your ankle and knee line up. If you can get your ankle, knee, and hip all in one line, that's perfect. If your feet are wider, this becomes a little bit easier, but you'll just be able to get your ankle and knee in line. Your hip might not come all the way to the outside. So you'll go 1 set of 5 on each side. And then lastly, you'll do what's called a cross-reaching straight leg deadlift. So I like to position myself in between a rack. You take 1 foot, place it in the middle, just in between the 2 uprights, and then that knee stays slightly bent. You're going to take the other leg, or I should say the other arm. So if my right leg is on the ground, I'm taking my left arm, and then I'm going to hinge at the hip, reach for the other upright. So if my right leg's on the ground, I'm reaching for the right upright with my left hand. One of the common things here is you'll see people's hips open up after they hinge, and one way to combat that is so I'm going to do it on my left leg now. One way to combat that is to take the leg that's in the air, the free leg, and then turn it in. So when you turn this in, it'll help keep the hip square to the ground as opposed to opening up. So I turn my toe in. Now that my left leg is working, I'm going to take my right arm and reach for the left upright. And so you would do 1 set of 5 on each side for that.